Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for taking out your precious time. And today we have Varun Chopra with us. He's the co-founder of the Teaser Company. It's a D2C marketing advertising agency for high converting ad funnels. Also, we have Saptrishi with us. He's the co-founder of Airboxr, which is an automated platform for D2C analysis of brands. So, Varun and Saptrishi, would you like to go ahead with a brief introduction about you two?
Sure, Saps, go on. I'll follow you.
All right, sounds good. Hi, everyone. My name is Saps. I started Airboxr as a way to automate all the data work that DTC brands need to do, especially in the early stages. Before this, I was in a VC firm called Entrepreneur First for a couple of years. And before that, I started my first DTC brand that I ran for about 6 years. I also started in management consulting, so I had a lot of experience in working with data, which sort of feeds into what I'm building today and what I'm going to be talking about today. Over to you, Varun.
Great. Thanks, Saps. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. This is lunch in India and post-lunch in Singapore, I believe, or, I think these two locations would be common, and good to, see you guys here. About my background, I'm a BITS Pilani. It's a premier engineering institute in India. A graduate from there, and very curious marketeer since college days on cracking campaigns, particularly from psychology, sociology, and storytelling lens. That's how my co-founder, we started the Teaser Company, and we only focused on D2C e-commerce brands since we saw a great opportunity of doing something creative, particularly for D2C brands. And we will share our thoughts and ideologies on what has worked, with the D2C brands that we were able to scale. Saps will bring more of data analytics energy into the room, and I'll try to throw more light on what creative foundations will help achieve product market fit and at a faster pace. So that will be the agenda. Should we kickstart? I hope, Diksha, are we good to go?
Yeah, we have close to 10 participants, so I think we can start.
Great. Sure. Thank you, everyone, once again for joining. So the first part of the session will be more about the growth experiments from creative perspective. As in, creativity can be induced into every aspect, but we will pick top 3 highest growth levers for D2C brands and try to understand what foundations will help us crack these 3 levers and get the maximum out of those potential. So, and the second part will be taken care by Saps, more about the data analytics insights, how AI is coming into the play and how that can help you grow. So, moving on to the first major. Sure. So about the first section, we will be throwing light upon these 3 key fundamentals. So we'll firstly decide what will be the North Star metric that we will try to optimize for an early stage D2C brand. Because if we have a goalpost set in, at least we know what we are looking for, or, achieving or going after. And those 3 fundamentals are broken down into A, the power of advertising, B, the power of landing pages and how it can impact a D2C brand, and C, the Godzilla offer. Why we call it Godzilla? Because essentially, an offer that will bring in loads and loads of people so that you become from a newly born baby to a Godzilla as soon as you can. So these 4 segments we will cover. So coming to what are the 3 most important levers for a D2C brand? Essentially, a lot of brands feel that ROAS or CAC/LTV. CAC is customer acquisition cost, LTV is lifetime value. Essentially, all these are matrices that are defined by these 3 in front of you in the screen. Because essentially these 3 matrices are defining how much ROAS, how much revenue, how much CAC, LTV, etc. you are getting. I'll throw more light upon how that is happening. But yeah, the first important metric to look after is CTR, which is the click-through rate. It essentially means how powerful is your advertising, how many people is your advertisement able to bring in or catch attention of people and bring into your landing page wherever you are selling your product. So yeah, the picture of a guy in the forest was just to showcase that it's a big forest, it's a big pool of internet out there, but you want your ad to be like a binocular or like a very sharp focus, that you want to attract these type of people, and that ad has to play that responsibility. Second biggest key lever is conversion rate. So now these sharp-eyed dream consumers are coming to your landing page. The second most important metric we look after is a conversion rate. How many of them are essentially paying you money? That's also important, right? We just don't want people to window shop on our website. So conversion rate, and lastly, the average order value. How much are they paying you per transaction? We are able to increase average order value, you can massively impact your bottom line, top line. So, and these three metrics are directly proportional to the revenue that you do, which is CTR multiplied by CR multiplied by AOV, which is directly proportional to your revenue. The more we optimize these three metrics over time, the better our revenue, ROAS, all North Star metrics will keep on improving. So firstly, we'll deep dive into the power of advertising. And before coming to the major part of it, we will first define what an objective of a digital ad means, or an early stage, what should the objective of an ad means. We all have born and brought up seeing ads from Nike, Just Do It, to bigger brands, thinking that this is what is advertising, inspiring people to take action. Early stage, that's the worst thing you can do to talk about brand level things. You have to talk about the product, how you are different, how you are unique, because at that time you want the early consumers or the innovator part of the curve. So objective of the ad in the early stage is to sell a relevant click. That's what essentially you want. Why relevant? Because you want your dream consumer, you want the high intent audiences. And why click? Because essentially you want them to move forward, right? We don't want them to enjoy the ad and just stay there. So relevant click is the objective of an ad. And how do we achieve that objective? We will share top three major parts of it, or a checklist. So this is a baker's analogy I'm attaching here, which is like, everyone know how to bake a cake. We can go to a shop and buy the ingredients. It's essentially what, like wheat or sugar, or depending on what you are trying to achieve, or blueberries, depending on the taste of the person. But here we will define what at least you need as key ingredients of a direct response advertisement, because that will help you brief your advertising agency properly, that will help you brief your internal team properly, or that will then you yourself will be able to make that this is a good direct response ad and this is a bad direct response ad. So for that distinction, here is the simple checklist. The checklist is 5 key elements of a high converting ad. First element, hook. What is the objective of a hook? Why should I watch this video? Why should I not watch, puppy videos or so many cool things that are happening on the internet? Here I am, scrolling on Instagram, Facebook. Why should I even look at you? So the first 2-3 seconds we have to answer or solve by how can we stop the scroll. Second most important part, the problem. What are you solving? We want to filter the relevant audience or make them empathize of what we are building. Because if they don't say yes to what problem you are solving, essentially you will be attracting a bad lead. The third key part of a good ad creative, the benefit. How are you different? What are you intriguing as their motivations? What desires are you serving? Those part also will make them feel more towards buying from you. Social proof. Again, there are loads and loads of brands coming day in, day out. How can you prove that you are the best out there, or at least worth giving a shot? Show some customer reviews, testimonials, or at least entail trust through a PR article, publishment, or howsoever way, but you need a social proof in a video at the later part of the video, or could be at the start. An offer. Again, you don't want a person to just say yes, even though the objective of an ad, like we discussed, is to sell a relevant click. but it's always great if you put the deal in front of in the ad itself, so that those who are coming are really high quality leads, and your pixel which is sitting on your website is able to learn greatly about these people and are able to reach out to more relevant people, those who are like these, coming after seeing these 5 key components of an ad. So a lot of brands go wrong in terms of either missing these sections, either not keeping their hook strong, which is a poor leverage, or in terms of not utilizing the best of 20-second, 30 seconds. I'm not comparing statics. I mean, even statics perform really well. But if we are talking about videos here, then essentially you can mix it, or you can write, or that's why copywriters are paid the highest, because the art of putting all these 5 elements together in a copy is also something of worth to the brand, because you will be putting loads of media on your ad creatives. Now coming to how do you analyze it, because only keeping these recipes without tasting and proving that the cake that you have baked is delicious or not, how do you taste that cake, or how do you test your ad? We analyze it through hook rate and hold rate. Diksha, am I audible? Actually, it shows that my internet is weak.
No, worry, you are properly audible.
Great. Cool, guys. So how can we measure these effectiveness of ad creative? There are 2 key metrics which Facebook, Meta, all dashboards provide: hook rate and hold rate. Hook rate talks about how good this first 5-6 seconds of your videos or a creative are. That will give you an idea that is your editing team or is your copy team is doing justice to attracting people from these platforms. And hold rate talks how good your benefit and social proof part, or the second half of the video, is. So the better you are able to analyze your hook rates, hold rate. If you have a good hold rate, it means you have done something good in the middle part of the video. You can utilize that section. Or if your hook rate is great, it means what you are starting the video with is good. So that will give you an idea of the sense in which where you are building the creative is right or wrong. So we'll play just quickly 1 or 2 assets that have outperformed in the last 3 months, so that you can see how it comes to life. This video, a couple of videos we'll play, have these 5 key parts to it. But here we took the hook as social proof. Problem, it's a beauty product, so it's convenience and look good quickly. Solution, our brand and how it is different. Key questions which are addressed. So these are some customer queries that were common and that was addressed by this video, by people speaking in front of the camera. So I'll play the video quickly so that you can have a look. Before running this ad, we were hitting a 1.2 to 1.5 ROAS effectively on a beauty brand in India. But after this video, we achieved a 2.5 to 3 ROAS. It means videos can pull your lever to a great extent. So here is the video.
Guys, let's have a look on these cutest lip care combos from Refine Cosmetics, which are absolutely chemical free and travel friendly. One is lip care kit with lip scrub, balm, and lip sleeping mask. And second one is lip and cheek tint in 3 different shades.
Got the ideal set of cosmetics from Refine. I love this packaging. They're like tiny bags. How cute are these? And then when you open the box, it says that it's made in India. It's vegan, cruelty-free, sulfate-free, and 85% natural, which is amazing.
Little pink outfit to match my amazing pink makeup with refined beauty, and yeah.
So I'll play the other one also in this case. This is for a brand called Neon Attack. They sell neon lights, and the hook that we went after was us versus them. It's a good standardized template that what you are and what others are selling. Put it out in front of the people directly, and especially during direct response, that's a good way to win your competitor, win over your competitors. Problems were there were a lot of cheaper alternatives to the product, and the solution we also addressed key questions in the video. So I'll play the ad for you.
Don't be fooled by copycats. There's only one brand that does neon signs best: Neon Attack.
Just one look and you would know that Neon Attack leaves other neon signs miles apart in quality. You can get anything customized from names, codes, hashtags to business logos. They use the highest quality materials and the finish is really flawless. The only brand to offer partial COD option even for customized neon signs. Just pay a minimum amount to confirm your order and rest via COD. Want to use it outdoors but scared of rain? Neon Attack offers India's only IP67 rated waterproof signs. Don't settle for fakes or cheap copies. No one can do what Neon Attack does. Customize your own neon sign today.
So yeah, couple of ads. I hope it helped you that, offer was clearly mentioned, problem statement, hook was very strong, a lot of social proof. So that essentially those who are coming to our website are legit qualified audiences. Now we'll move to the second part of it, which is the landing page. So the work, the responsibility of an ad ended there, which is to sell a relevant click. Now we have gotten these people on the landing page, and like we discussed, we were optimizing for CTRs and good quality audience till now. Now we'll optimize for how do we sell the product? How do we make people believe that yes, you are at the right place at the right time, and now you need to buy it from this website and not go to any marketplace for that matter. So we'll discuss the checklist, like we discussed the baker's analogy of what makes a landing page makes an ad convert. We'll discuss what makes a landing page convert. So there are 7 key parts to a great high converting landing page. So this is the guide that we use to audit all our brands, when it comes to landing page CRO. And these are the biggest levers. Small things like color, font styles, etc. We are not going deep into it. Even at a higher scale, it helps. But since we are talking only product market fit and 0 to 1 journey, these 7 sections are good enough to make a great landing page. First is the top fold. So remember, you used a hook in the video. It could be any angle through which you would be selling your product. Try maintaining the consistency of what you used as a hook or used as an offer to as a top fold to your landing page. It could be a banner. It could be this just the start of the landing page, so that there is some consistency over which type of audience you were attracting through this. The pitch section, coming directly to what this is about. Now you will be educating. You want all information to be given to this consumer. If the person got sold with the advertisement, great, but we don't want to leave it for those who need some time, who need some information, etc. So the pitch section, clearly showing the benefits. Here you sell the emotions, how you are different, how you are better. Features or benefits, again, what is so special about it. Testimonials, show loads of people who have used it before. A guarantee, I mean, essentially, people are risking their hard-earned money. If you can take a guarantee or make an offer they can't refuse, it always works. So what could be a guarantee? A challenge, a 21-day fitness challenge, or a 30-day return policy, or something that you can offer them as a guarantee. And the FAQ section, top 3 questions that you can address to them. These can be addressed clearly through, or these can be measured through the time spent on the page or conversion rate. There are a lot of apps to measure the heat maps on your website, so that you can see, which part people are dropping off, can I improve it? And which part at least people are, going through. But the top fold remains the most crucial part. Again, like in the advertisement, the hook was super crucial. Here, the top fold, the first scroll as soon as they open, if you show social proof, reviews, guarantees, offers directly in the first screen, nothing like it, because I mean, essentially you are not leaving it to the chance that people will read all 6 sections and make your conversion rate even better. There are some pages aligned, but I'll keep it for the end, I think, because we are stretching a little on this. But now I'll quickly cover the last part of this, which is the Godzilla offer, or 85% of your performance is going to be dependent on what you make as an offer. Even though we have seen this might not work in countries like Saudi Arabia or UAE, etc., because people have a perception of an offer could mean a bad product. but we are considering rest of the locations here. I'm fully not aware of audiences in North America, South America, but in general, as humans, we really like offers. And that's why, sale time, we see sales shooting up, or, any 50% off, etc. But here, what can you do? What all directions can you explore your offer at? First is very simple, give a free gift. People like anything free. It could be a complimentary accessory, another product, exclusive digital resource, but try giving something for free. It will improve your abandoned cart to checkout ratios. And even you can talk about that in your ads. Bundle hero products together. Again, bundling is a super important decision for you. With toothpaste, people used to sell brushes. With hair oil, people used to sell comb. That has been, through generation, at least bundling products so that they can save something with the deal. Limited time offers. This works really well in a lot of categories. See if it works for you. Just a 24-hour sale or a 48-hour sale. We all know, Black Friday to Cyber Mondays to, in India, it's the Diwali festival, etc. But yeah, flash sales works really well. Some bonus would be if you can offer free shipping, if you can, give a 100% money back guarantee, or you can, do in-cart or post-purchase upsells. So these all tips would at least help you create an offer that people are, it's very hard for them to refuse. So now I'll summarize all the 3 key sections together, which is yes. So a small revision. So yeah, objective of an ad is to sell a relevant click. Relevant because we want only the right audience. Click because we want them to move forward. Objective of landing page is to sell the product. We discussed 7 key essential parts of what makes a landing page convert. Optimize the top folds. That's the most important part. In ad, think your hook to be, really strong. What's your Godzilla offer? Give more time. It's not in the dashboards you will find great ROS. It's in the human psychology you will find, selling your product in an easier manner. So that's it from my side. I'll pass it on to Saps. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to share my screen, Varun. Sorry, I'm just going to change my screens from one to the other. Give me a second.
Meanwhile, if any one of you has any questions, please feel free to type them in.
Awesome. Thank you, Varun, for that really cool pitch. There were some parts of it that I realized as a SaaS company also we're going through the same things, talking about the hooks, and it's not different in DTC or if you're in a different space altogether. Now let us talk about how do you measure, what are the things that you should be measuring in the initial days. Remember, these are the times when you're probably not at a product market fit stage yet. And that's only because we are targeting that in this audience, in this webinar, right? So today we will talk about, two main things: what to look at when you're looking at data and what metrics to track. But before we do that, let's first get on the same page on what is PMF for a DTC company. What is product market fit for a DTC company? So first, you should be able to identify what your repeatable message about your brand or your product is. Not specifically the hooks that you're using in your ads, but overall about the product, about the business. And then A, you find a repeatable message. B, you find a repeatable channel that you can use. There was a time when you could literally run anything on Facebook ads and it would give you a deluge of orders, but not anymore. Maybe it is TikTok for you. Maybe it's a certain kind of, Facebook stories or Instagram stories for you. Could be a very different one for every one of your every business. So it's essential to find out what that channel is and what that message is as quickly as possible, and then double down on it. And to an extent, you should be aware of what your unit level profitability looks like. For instance, if your COGS for a product, if you're buying a product at $100, you're selling it at $150, that's fine. And because of course you're spending some money on it to be able to sell it at 150 as well, right? But if you're buying a product at 100 and you're selling it at 70, then probably you don't have a PMF just yet. However, what are the things that do not count toward PMF? Right? Business profitability. In the initial days, when you're spending on warehousing, on inventory, on people, it's very unlikely that as an entire business, you're going to be profitable. So that doesn't really determine if you have a PMF yet or not. Similarly, you don't need millions of dollars in sales to say that, okay, I have enough to double down. I have a PMF that I should be able to double down now. And of course, high valuations. Everyone knows that that doesn't imply PMF, but it's always good to point out that valuation is in the eyes of the investors, not of your customers. And PMF is definitely something that you win from customers, not from investors. So we'll talk about how to look at data. But just to get on the same page on what is the expectation that you should have when you're looking at data, right? First of all, if you've joined us on this call, you're probably a generalist founder or a digital marketer or an operator of some sort. 9 out of 10 chances you're not a data analyst or an Excel guru, so you don't need to step into the shoes of a data analyst when you're looking at data. Why should you look at data then in the first place, right? Now, you should be using data to make measurable decisions, things that help you make decisions faster. Don't look at data for the sake of appearing data-oriented. I know a lot of us fall into that trap. So keep telling yourself that, hey, there's got to be a decision I'm going to make on the basis of this data. Instead, build a hypothesis you want to test. Like, when should I reorder my most popular product? What is my most popular product? What data do you need to test this hypothesis? For example, you need to find out what is the most popular product. You need to look at historical sales of that product. You need to check how much inventory you have in stock for that product. So now you know what data to look at based on the question that you're trying to answer. Never ever do this thing that I've pointed out in the bottom left. Hey, this tool gives me a lot of great data on product sales. Let me dive right into it. Don't do that, because you'll find you've wasted hours on looking, browsing through the data without any coherent output coming from that. Now that we have that out of the way, these are the 4 areas that you should focus on when you're looking at data. Revenue data is a no-brainer. Obviously, if you're selling something, you're looking at how your sales are going, how your returns are going, cancellation rates, stuff like that. Marketing, Varun already talked about CTR and AOVs and stuff. So those are what you have to look at. On the operations side, the more you're involved in ops in the initial days, the better it is for your business. So make sure you're tracking shipping performance, the return performance, things like that. Finance, you don't need to get into the accounting aspects of things, but make sure that you understand what your cost of goods sold are and what is your path to profitability, even if you're not profitable right at this moment. So I'll talk about a few examples from each of these that you should look at. For example, to track revenue data, you must look at sales over time, and especially if you sell seasonal products, right, fashion or mostly fashion, then you should look at sales over time, product sales over time, and variant sales over time. For what do these 3 things mean? Sales is basically I sold $20,000 worth of products today. That's just sales over time. Then you want to say, hey, of those $20,000, $10,000 came from this one product. Let's say a dress shirt. Variant sales is, okay, of these $10,000 more in of sales in this dress shirt, 50% of them were in the medium size. So medium is the variant here. So you should be able to track these over time, especially if you have a smaller number of products. And hopefully, if you're starting out, you do have a smaller number of products. This data is very easily available most of the times from whatever platform you're using, Shopify, Magento, or WooCommerce. Let me show you how most of our users do this. They usually create a spreadsheet that shows the sale of each product and variant over time. You can use our product, but you can also just download CSV files from Shopify or your platform as well. So get something like this, which is showing all the outputs from your sales outputs by product from your store. And then over time, try and get them onto a Looker dashboard of some sort. It's basically the same data you see here presented in a Looker dashboard. We're looking at sales trends by product, by variant. Here, for example, we're looking at the top selling products. We're also looking at the top discounted products, and which are the products I'm selling at most discounts, and which are the products that are getting returned the most. And of course, look at this over time as well. Next, you should look at the sales of particular products over time. And if you have similar products, look at comparing them on a graph like that shows you if one's doing better than the other and so on. And if you have variants, if you don't, no big deal. But if you have variants, look at what sizes sell the most, what time do these sales happen the most. And if you are a multi-brand store, then look at which brands are selling the most over what time frame. Okay. Now, not all products are the same. You can use both, like this is a very popular matrix, the BCG matrix, which shows what are the different kinds of products you might be selling based on their market share. Or usually, so you can, from your perspective, you can also look at it as instead of market share, as share of your own sales and their growth. Right? You don't need to read all of this. We will share the presentation later. You can click on this button and get a full download of the BCG metrics. But the goal here is that you should be able to tell which of your products are any of these. Like dogs are basically the ones that don't have a great growth, and they have a smaller market share. It means that these are probably your pet products. You don't want to get rid of them because you kind of like them, but there's no reason to be selling those products. Cash cows are, on the other hand, they're not growing as fast, but they have a lot of market share, or at least a lot of share in your own portfolio of products. So maybe you use them to fund other higher risk ventures, right? Higher risk ventures being where maybe the market share is still low, but the growth is high. So maybe a product that that you're trying to launch, which obviously doesn't have a lot of share right away, and then you take the earnings from your cash cows and try and feed them to launch newer products. I'm not saying that all products that don't have great margins or sales are bad. The good thing about selling online is that you can use those products to push other products that are actually higher margins. So question out to everyone here. Just type into the chat 1 or 2 based on what you think the answer is. Which of these 2 types of products should you push? 1, a product that sells well but has minimal or no profits, or a product that is highly profitable but sells infrequently. Just use the chat icon to type in 1 or 2. All right, I'm just seeing a 50-50 split here. But the real answer, there's no right answer, obviously, but one of the ways to look at this is that you use one to promote the other. Right? Ideally, we want highly profitable products, but we want to sell them more frequently, right? And then the product that does sell frequently doesn't have any profits. It's not profitable. So maybe what we should be looking at is using the product that does sell well to push the product that is highly profitable. It's quite difficult if people are, if your product number one that sells well is selling at $10 and the product that is highly profitable is selling at 150. So obviously you won't, it's difficult to use a $10 product to sell a $150 product. But maybe you get them in, maybe your ads should be talking about the $10 product, and then slowly you nurture them over time so that they graduate to the $150 product. But yes, it just like the like our responses, it is a 50-50 split, not surprising at all. Within marketing data, we should look at advertising performance data, but also customer segmentation data. This is similar to what Varun actually already spoke a lot about the advertising performance, but I will very briefly touch upon both of them. Now, within advertising performance, you should be looking at the campaigns that are leading to conversions, identifying which of the campaigns are leading to conversions, which ads are at risk of saturation. Recently, I was reading that Facebook actually says that you should redo your ads creatives every week. That might seem like a lot, but the most successful brands are actually doing that. That's a way to preempt saturation, but there are other indicators you can use to also identify when your ad might be getting saturated. And of course, identify which landing pages are leading to sales. But within the customer segments, you should define at least these three types of customer segments right at the outset, even when you have very few data points. Pre-PMF, I'm guessing you have very few data points, so definitely go and segment them into these three areas. One is the most valuable customers. How do you define value obviously changes based on who you ask, but the right way to do that is something called an RFM analysis, recency, frequency, and monetary value analysis. And then we will and look at the people who are at risk of churn. We'll deep dive in this in a little bit. Broadly, the CPA, CPC, and CAC are what you should be focusing on. CPA is cost per acquisition. For DTC brands, it should be the cost required to acquire a paying customer. CPC is just cost per click. CAC is customer acquisition cost. Let me rephrase the first one. Cost per acquisition is basically cost per order. So the total marketing spend divided by the total number of new customers you have acquired is the CAC. One rule of thumb that you should be looking at is that the lifetime value of the customer has got to be between 3x and 5x of your CAC. If it is less than 3x, your ads are not doing well, you are overspending. At the same time, being more than 5x is not a good thing. It means that you're leaving money on the table. You're not spending enough to get more customers like the ones that you're getting now. I spoke about RFM analysis. You can basically download the data from your Shopify store and run the analysis yourself. Here is an example of how Airboxr does it, but it's totally up to you on how you want to run this. Basically, what this does is it pulls in the customer orders over the last 180 days, looks at when was the last time they ordered, and then gives them a score between 1 and 5. Then it looks at how many products did they purchase in their lifetime so far, and gives them a score on that. And then finally, how much money did they spend with you, and gives them a 1 to 5 score on that. And then you add up these 1 to 5 scores to arrive at a score out of 15. Those who are 15 or close to 15 are your most valuable customers. So finally, operational data. Ideally, you should not be running your own warehouse before you hit PMF. So from our perspective, we'll look at how long does it take to ship out an order, how which of your shippers are performing well. These are good things to keep in mind and track over time, because your initial customers are the ones that are going to make or break your reputation based on these things, based on hey, amazing website, but it takes you 15 days to deliver the product, and then I have to follow up with you 5 times. That's the word of mouth that's going to make or break you. Therefore, you should be tracking this number even before PMF. I'd suggest look at these 2 numbers mainly to be safe at this point. Like, how long is it taking to ship a product out of your warehouse or out of your dorm room or out of your own house, right? Can you do most of it within 24 hours? The other thing to look at is if you're using multiple shippers, and you should be using multiple shippers, then which are the ones that are delivering mostly within time? The better, the faster they are, the better they are for you. Of course, you have to combine this with how expensive they are to see what works best. I'll not deep dive too much into financial data, but broadly what you should be looking at are how profitable your SKUs are at the SKU level. How much money do you have to keep running if you're unprofitable? So you always have this deadline in mind, deadline to keep in mind that, hey, I've got money for 24 months to make this profitable in 24 months, or have so much traction that I'm going to go out and raise more money. If you're a solo founder, or you have you don't come from money, then it's a good thing to keep in mind how much runway do you personally have, because the company's runway is the shorter of your runway, and the company and the money in the bank for the company. Finally, one thing to keep in mind is the cash conversion cycle. This is slightly more complex, so I won't go into the definitions, into the formulas for this. But basically, it's a metric that shows you how many days it takes for you to convert the cash you're spending on inventory back into cash by selling that product. Now, it doesn't mean that if you've bought 10 products, you have to sell those 10 products and then only you get the entire money back. Hopefully, you've got enough profit in there so that you buy 10 products, but you sell 6, and your cash conversion is done. We'll send across this presentation. Just click on this link to feed in the numbers yourself in this online calculator, and you'll be able to tell what your cash conversion cycle is. The lower it is, the better. Some really massive companies work with suppliers to have this be negative even. Probably not possible in the very early days, but definitely doable. So that's mainly it. These are the things to keep in mind. I know we had one question, so I will take that first and then open it up to other questions as well. So Amarpreet had this question around how to best calculate LTV. That is such a good question, because there is generally no right answer. Everything you say online will say, hey, just see how much people spend on your store, and then multiply it by their lifetime, right? Or lifetime duration. Now, the problem with that approach is we don't know what their lifetime duration is. Like, if your store is 1 year old, how do you tell how long my customer is going to stick around, right? Most bigger companies say that customers are going to stick around for 3 years before they churn in a way that they are never coming back to buy from us. That doesn't work for most other companies. So at Airboxr, we have our own methodology to determine that. What we do is I'm going to get a bit technical here, so feel free to follow up with more questions. We get a bit technical, but what we do is we try and find the ideal customer, average customer that is representative of what your customer base looks like. How do we do that? We look at only customers who have been around more than 6 months, who have purchased from you for more than 6 months, and they have also purchased from you in at least once in the last 1 year, in the last 6 months. What this means is, if they have been around for a while and they are still active, means they haven't already churned. And then we look at how much on an average have they spent with you. And if they have spent, say, $100 over the last 2 years, and they have been purchasing from you in the last 6 months as well, we can safely assume that they're going to stick around for at least another year. We don't know what it's going to look like 3 years down the line, but we know that they'll probably stick around another year. So what we do is we take that average that we calculated and multiply and extrapolate it to the next year. If they have spent $200 so far in the last 2 years, and they have been sticking around and they belong in this cohort that we talked about, then they will stick around for another year. So this $200, we can say, hey, they'll spend another $100 in the next year. So they're the average of the entire customer base spends $200 in 2 years. We expect them to stick around another 1 year. So in total, their LTV is going to be $300. Sorry, that was a complicated way of answering that question, Ampreet. So I'm going to also include an article that describes this in more detail.
If anyone has any other questions, please feel free to put them up. Varun, there's one more question. Would you like to answer it?
Sure. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Great. So I'll repeat the question first. What's the best way to identify relevant target audience once the ad and landing page is ready? How to define, how to find and target, how to pivot if it doesn't work. Okay, so I'll take one question at a time, but since there are multiple variables here, I'll try to fix some variables and try to answer so that those decisions are made. So typically how our performance marketing team takes calls is two major variables we consider. One is the TG, the targeting that we do, as in selecting the interest set, because Facebook, Instagram allows us to target through interest basis. Or there is an ad, which is the communication part. Usually we fixate one variable, as in if we know this TG always performs and gives us good ROAS, because maybe, for example, you are selling a mobile phone holder or something of that sort, and you are targeting, iOS or Android, or, people around that, where you feel this audience group or this interest set would be very relevant. In case of fashion, you can find out fashion brands. So if the TG is working for you, it means, keep on pushing good ads in that TG, and most likely it will perform. If an ad is an outperformer, then how can you define? You'll have to test. Maybe, for example, if you have 2 to 3 ads, put X by 3, X by 3, X by 3, which is your daily spends on each of them. And if this ad always performs in this interest set, it has, and you push that interest set also, it performed, it means that is a classic winner advertisement, and you can safely assume that this ad had the potential to eventually convert every audiences that you went through. So fix one, either the interest set that you are going after and test multiple ads, or one ad and different multiple audiences. So that's the best way to identify, either the ad is working or the TG is working. About the landing page, I think you shared that how to define, how to find and target. So how to find and target, as in you will have to experiment. We usually have a creative questionnaire and a targeting brief that defines who is the dream consumer that we are going forward with, their psychographics, demographics, where do they live, age group, etc. So that our targeting is, as per our understanding. If there is some other nuance after orders that are flowing in, and for example we thought males would buy, but we see a 80-20 female to male ratio, then we pivot our ads to let's put a female face, etc. But you will have to check the heat maps on landing page. If there are any critical parts where people are dropping off, or add to cart, abandon cart is not as per good ratios, then you go about experimenting with WhatsApp automation funnel, those who have added to cart or abandoned cart, to maybe giving a freebie or upsell cross sell with a better benefit, to see what price point are people pushing forward, etc. Answering the how to pivot if it doesn't work. So firstly I need to understand what doesn't work, as in you will have to find, if ad doesn't work, if you are putting it into different interest set and it does not perform, it means it's a failure. Landing page doesn't work is typically that your offer that you are making is not the offer or the information that you're providing, that how you are better, what you are selling, social proof, etc., that is not as per as per how it should be. That is usually how can conclude. Ashish, feel free to share anything if my answer was vague, but because I had to fixate certain variables, as it's a broad question, I hope it was useful. Just like comment if you want me to clarify anything. Cool. Great. About Amanpreet asks, Varun, on the top fold for the landing page, if the creative strategy is evolving and we have different hooks running at the same time, how do we get landing page to be in line with with the hooks? Great question. So definitely, Amanpreet. So nowadays there are tools. We use Replo. Replo is a landing page builder that helps you make the same landing page into ABC. So for example, landing page A, you have the 6 sections which I mentioned: hook to benefits to feature to social proof. You can either rejig sections, because people have seen, if you put social proof first and the product catalog third, I mean, you see different conversion rates. However, in this case, your question is that advertising had different angles, or different ways you were selling. How do you bring a synergy on your landing page? Either do landing page ABC with respect to ad ABC, because Replo will help you do it quickly and fast. It's a $99 subscription per month, but if you are spending high, it's worth it. Or there are free tools also available. Commenting on, is there a way that all 3 ads, I mean, you find different ad angles, but you want to keep the top fold very generic so that you don't have to do the hassle of testing 3 landing pages? Because if you are in the early stages, I believe if your spends are not too high, you don't want to spend too much time doing Replo ABC testing because that will bring another variable into this. So I would suggest just keep a generic banner, in the sense that any hook which is outperforming out of all 3, just use that hook for now, or just use, X many customers have bought from you, etc. That will be good enough to start with. So at what scale do you suggest Replo? I mean, we have suggested brands after they cross 15,000-20,000 INR per day spends or 30,000 INR per day spends, because essentially that's a 9 to 10 lakh INR, or in terms of dollars, that's a $1,500-$2,000 monthly spends. So that is percent improvement. Contribute helpful.
Thanks for answering that, Varun. I think the rest of the questions we can probably, send the responses on mail if somebody has any more. So thanks for such an insightful session, Sapreshi and Varun. And thank you everyone for attending.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you everyone for your time. Thank you, Sas. Thank you, Diksha. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Varun,
Varun.
Diksha. Bye.